Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the movie Hangout. Happy 4th of July, and let's talk about how much money Indiana Jones 5 will lose. It's had a big opening this weekend. I mean, kind of big in some ways. July 4th movie weekends are supposed to be a big moneymaker because people are home, people are doing stuff with family. So Hollywood was hoping, anticipating that this super famous intellectual property, Indiana Jones, would be bringing in tons of cash, the same way Maverick did with Top Gun. It's not looking like it's going to happen, so I'm going to dive into the numbers here. What do I think the outcome is going to be? And I think it's pretty clear it's going to be a little bit bleak. Hate to say it. Looks like it's so. Okay, over right now, I'm at Box Office Mojo here, taking a look at the worldwide box office of Indiana Jones 5. It's hard to believe there's 5 already. You know what I mean? It's like, in my mind, there's still 3, and then the other 2 are kind of like something else, Shouldn't even really be considered as the Indiana Jones, canon, but whatever. Maybe that's just me. So right now, we're at $152 million worldwide, which a lot of people look at that and they would think, wow, that's pretty impressive. That's a lot of money. But the problem is that it's not necessarily how much you make, it's how much you spent making the movie. Because you can make $1 billion, which is great. But if you spent $2 billion making the movie, you still lose $1 billion. So let's go on over here. So I'm at Bounding into Comics. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny bombs at the box office. Not one for subtlety over at Bounding into Comics. Love it. Only 9% of moviegoers heard it was good from friends and family. That is not good. PR has been a huge problem with this film. Part of the reason why is because people anticipate movies being bad now. There really isn't a lot of excitement anymore because Hollywood keeps putting out, they're more like political propaganda pieces rather than movies with just like a tablespoon of propaganda. Now it's like 99% propaganda, a tablespoon of story. People will put up with propaganda as long as you just give them a teeny little bit. Hollywood for the last 6 years has just totally shied away from that. They're going all out, just hitting you over the head with agenda. And so everybody was kind of wishy-washy with this movie. 9% of people only saying that they heard it's good is pretty bad. According to the numbers, the film only grossed $60 million domestically in its 3-day opening weekend and another $70 million internationally for a global gross of $130 million. The film fell far short of box office projections. The numbers predicted the film would gross $73.8 million in its opening weekend, which is still pretty low for something like this. You got Harrison Ford, huge star, playing a character. I mean, let's face it, Indiana Jones and Han Solo are the 2 characters that Harrison Ford is known for. And Indiana Jones, and just at least to me, is my favorite character he's played. Han Solo is a close second, but I think Indiana Jones, he's just more heroic. Han Solo, the movie wasn't all about him. He was a supporting character, whereas Indiana Jones, it's literally, the title is his name. It goes on that the outlet previously predicted the film would gross between 60 million and 65 million domestically on its way to 140 million global opening. Comparing the film to other Indiana Jones films, the movie failed to best the last film in the franchise, which was 15 years ago, so not good. The Crystal Skull, the film grossed 100.1 million in the opening weekend, on its way to 317.1 million domestically and 786.6 million globally. That was also way back in 2008. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, also best Dial of Destiny with when adjusting inflation. It's 37 million opening back in 1989, translates to 90.8. Wow. So the third Indiana Jones film beat this one by $20 million. That is a lot. Temple of Doom's 25.3 opening weekend. Trounced Dial of Destiny, when you adjust for inflation, 74.1 million opening. As for why the film did so bad, it appears audiences did not like it despite an 88 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I've said this before, I'm going to keep on repeating it. You cannot trust the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes was purchased by one of the big studios years ago, and they only have a very small pool of pre-approved critics that, they get flown in to premieres, they get free swag, goodie bags, they get to do meet and greets with the cast. They're not going to be giving that up. They're not going to jeopardize that by telling the truth as to whether or not a movie is good or bad. So just be aware of that. I only use Rotten Tomatoes when I'm just like joking around with how ridiculous the reviews are. I never take them serious at all. It goes on to say that which calls into question the reliability of a Fandango-owned website, do you think? Deadline Sports said the exit poll reveals only 9% heard it was good from friends and family. The movie cinema score also came in at a B+, which is okay. That's not terrible at all. Like I would be happy with a B+, but for something like this, you would hope it'd be like A-, because this is not only an Indiana Jones movie starring Harrison Ford, it's the final Indiana Jones film that he's ever going to be in. I mean, he's 80 years old. He's not going to be Indiana Jones in 15 years. It's just not going to happen. And pretty much it's the end of the whole series, because who's gonna portray him? Nobody's gonna portray the guy unless they get like a younger guy, and then they do AI and change like his face and everything. And Harrison Ford signs away the rights to his likeness forever. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to be allowed, because then you're going to have movies like with Marlon Brando and Humphrey Bogart and Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Cruise. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be the end of the industry pretty much. So they're not going to let that happen. The film also has a mediocre 6.9 weighted rating on IMDb. I would trust the 6.9 more than the 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. And here they really get down to the nitty gritty. I love this, of the different user ratings right there. Went on to say every Indiana Jones film, including the not to be counted Crystal Skull, that should not be included in anything, made over $1 billion when you adjust the numbers for inflation. Every single Indiana Jones film, this movie, at this point, it will be lucky to get 400 million internationally. And meaning not only will it be the worst performing Indiana Jones film, but also it will be not just the biggest box office flop of the entire franchise, but possibly of the year, maybe even the past several years. Went on to say that he predicts it'll barely get 400 million worldwide, meaning following the opening gross losses. Even if it does get 400 million, that would mean this film would still be around $250 million loss. So this film cost, I just looked it up. It was, let's see, $295 million for this film. 295. It's the most expensive film ever made. It's more expensive than Avatar, which is crazy because that entire movie is a special effect. I mean, it is. There's not one frame in that movie where there isn't something CGI'd or green screened, and it's just crazy that this movie would cost more than that. So if you add 295, so let's say $300 million. That's what it costs to make the film. And then you add the marketing budget. Now, typically the marketing budget is about the same as the budget. So if it's $300 million, they're going to spend another $300 million on marketing. That's $600 million it's going to need just to break even. Now, based on the numbers right now, it's currently worldwide at 152 million. Do we really think that this movie is going to have, steam? It's got momentum to springboard it to $250 million a week from now, or $350 million 3 weeks from now, or 450. I don't see it. I'm not seeing that. I'm not reading it online. In the comment section, if you are hearing from people that this is an amazing film, that this is like the best way, the greatest film to ending the character, leave a comment in the comment section, because I really want to know. But I don't see it happening. I think this movie really is going to lose 450 million dollars. I mean, it's going to be the biggest failure for Lucasfilm. Now, will this result in Kathleen Kennedy being fired? Something tells me no, but one can only hope and wonder, that a new direction will be, a course correction will take place. But let me know about that too. Do you think that if this loses $450 million, that Kathleen Kennedy will be let go? Also, let me know, do you think that there is a pivot point with Disney where they could maybe, do a reboot of this movie, of this series, at least the Crystal Skull in this one, and use AI and actually make good films and end it on a high note? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you need future rants, reviews, original content, click subscribe. Later.